Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome back to the Overwatch World Cup Roundup 2019 Knockout Round results. So, we have our final chapter of the Overwatch World Cup for this year, and I tell you what, it's an interesting one. Let's start off with the quarterfinals then. We saw the first game, which would be Denmark taking on the South Koreans, and this was an interesting one, right? Denmark, a real surprise package this year, and they showed how much grit and determination they have against the South Koreans. That's for sure. Now, the scoreline kind of doesn't tell you the whole story. Korea did win this 3-0, but it was actually fairly close. This game had 5 maps in it. It had 2 draws on Blizzard World and Volskaya Industries, including, I think, like a 4.5 minute hold for Denmark on Volskaya Industries. So that's incredible when you're talking they're going up against the likes of South Korea here. One thing that was worrying, and has been worrying for South Korea all tournament, is that their synergy's not there, which is odd to when we're talking about South Korea, but it wasn't there. They all looked a little bit off, and it's cost them already in the tournament. But Denmark should not be ashamed of how they've done. Quarterfinalist is a great place to get to for a team like Denmark. Denmark obviously came through the preliminaries. They are the 15th ranked team, the lowest ranked team in the competition. So it's been a really good year for Denmark. And honestly, some of these players from Denmark, they should be picked up. Like top contenders teams or Overwatch League teams should be looking at these guys and saying, damn, there's some players we really need here, and they should pick them up. Especially Fisher. He's one of the ones that really stood out. But I'll do a video on that anyway. Moving on, we had the other quarterfinal, which was France taking on the Netherlands. France obviously got some surprise results in the group stages, beating South Korea. And Netherlands, again, another one of our surprise packages this year, coming in third in Group B ahead of the likes of Russia and Canada. Obviously, Netherlands, another team to come through the preliminaries. And the only 2 teams to come through the preliminaries and get through to the knockouts were Denmark and the Netherlands as well. So that's pretty cool to see those 2 lower ranked teams out of the preliminaries coming through and making a name for themselves at this World Cup. On to the game then, and the early stages of France versus the Netherlands were actually really close. The Netherlands really were giving a good account of themselves. Blizzard World went to a crazy amount, which the Netherlands actually did win Blizzard World. They won it 5-4, which is bonkers. But eventually, after Blizzard World, which was the second map, France really found their footing, and it became not so close. In the end, France would run out 3-1 winners, setting up a semi-final against China, and again, nothing to be ashamed of with the Netherlands. There are some players in this Netherlands squad that I think should be picked up by teams, big teams, maybe Overwatch League teams. So these, Denmark and the Netherlands especially, really good teams, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some of those names out of those 2 really making waves next year in the pro scene for Overwatch. But that is us done for the quarterfinals. We move on to the semi-finals, and when we get to the semi-finals, the top seeds from each group come in. Those are the United States and China. The semi-final, we saw the United States taking on South Korea. Now, this is obviously a big grudge match, but it's actually happened before in this World Cup during the group stages, which the United States actually ran out pretty comfortable winners in. The question is, can South Korea step up, like they usually do, and prevent themselves from going out before getting to the gold medal match? No, they can't. The United States are built around the core of San Francisco Shock, right? And what was the big thing about San Francisco Shock? Their extreme quality in the Overwatch League this season. Not only that, their ability to clutch was crazy during the Overwatch League season. And you can see this in the United States. Their clutchness at times was just bonkers. Corey getting 4Ks, 5Ks, same for Sinatra, and, all of the picks that the United States have made for their squad this year have been vindicated massively. They've looked so good. Korea, however, yeah, again, a little bit disjointed at times, not all on the same page, some people going off doing their own thing. Yeah, at times you'd see Carpe, or especially Architect, pick up some really massive kills, or even some 4K, 5K ults and stuff like that. But the clutchness wasn't quite there for South Korea, which we've seen before. They've always been able to grind out the wins, even if they've been up against a wall in some respects. This year, they didn't. And it's up for debate on why they haven't been able to do that. Again, that's for another video. But the United States run out 3-1 winners over South Korea. It was closer than the group stage game, but not close enough for South Korea. South Korea would take place in their first ever bronze medal match. They would not be winning the World Cup this year, which is massive. It finally happened. What was the name of the South Korea video? It was Can They Be Beaten? And they have 3 times this World Cup, twice by the United States, once by France, and South Korea, first time they go home without a gold medal. Big history being made at this World Cup. Moving on to the other semi-final then. Who would take on the United States in the final? Who would be taking on South Korea in the bronze medal match out of China or France? Now, France had looked really good going through the World Cup. China had looked perhaps slightly better. The problem is with China is in Group B, they were perhaps not up against the caliber of opponent that France had been up against. France had been taking on the United Kingdom, Sweden, South Korea, United States. China had been up against Denmark, the Netherlands, Russia, and the quite pitiful Canada this year. So, had China really been tested at this World Cup? Not really. I don't think we can say that. So, this was the test for China. Could they pass the French test? Now, the French do take the first map on Busan, but the rest of the maps would go the way of China, apart from Horizon Lunar Colony, which ended in a 1-1 draw. We've seen a lot of draws this World Cup, by the way. We've seen a lot of draws, so that's pretty cool. It shows that the gap between teams is really tightening. There's no team that is going through this, apart from perhaps the US, that are going through this and just blowing opponents away. So that's pretty cool. It's nice to see that a lot of these games can actually be quite tight, even sometimes despite the scoreline. This scoreline, however, is China 3, France 1. France will be taking part in the bronze medal match against South Korea, and China goes through to their second Overwatch World Cup final on the bounce. That is pretty good from a Team China point of view. Last year they lost comprehensively to South Korea, so could they change it this year against the United States? We will take a look at that in a minute. But let's take a look at our bronze medal match first of all. And yeah, this wasn't too close. South Korea won this one 3-0. They got a 2-0 on Ilios, a 3-2 win on Kings Row, and then a 3-0 win on Dorado. This is disappointing from a France point of view. I really thought they had a shot, especially considering they beat South Korea in the group stage, of getting a medal here. But they matched what their fellow Europeans, the United Kingdom, managed to do last year and get a 4th place, just missing out on those medal spots. Oh, it's tough on Europe. It's tough on Europe. South Korea, though, they go home with a medal. So, at least they still have the pride of, we've had a medal at every single BlizzCon. So, there's no team, I believe, that can do that now, considering Canada kind of pitifully went out this year as well. Moving on, then, to our grand final. The United States taking on China for the gold medal. Who will be getting the silver medal? Well, you know I talk about clutchness. The USA is absolutely bloomin' full of it. China, and I had worries about China when I was watching the China-France game, actually. China, sometimes, when they get thrown a few things at them that they can't quite prepare for, they don't know how to react, and sometimes it catches them off guard. But the USA, they're absolute quality shone through here. And it ended up being a 3-0 for the United States of America. The United States finally have that elusive gold medal at the Overwatch World Cup. We have a new winner. It is the USA. China will be taking on a silver medal for the second time in a row. That must be agonizing for those Chinese players. But the USA, you have to say, have looked like the best team in this entire competition. They ran out the group stage without dropping a map. And they've dropped one map all tournament. One map. They have gone through the whole tournament just dropping one map against South Korea in the semi-final. That is bonkers. That is bonkers. And well deserved to the USA. Your MVP, if you really needed to guess, is Sinatra, because what a year it's been for that brilliant, brilliant player. Overwatch League MVP, Overwatch League winner, Overwatch World Cup winner, and now Overwatch World Cup MVP. He is the most valuable player on the planet right now, Sinatra. I don't think anyone can doubt that. It's pretty incredible to see what he's done since basically coming of age to play for the San Francisco Shock. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, that's your 1, 2, 3. United States of America are the gold medalists, China are the silver medalists, and South Korea are the bronze medalists. Regarding the World Cup, there is other stuff to talk about. You know, I'm going to do a video on how the format's gone this year and perhaps potential changes that we need to see there. And then obviously, there's the elephant in the room of South Korea and where they've gone wrong this year. Everyone kind of wanted to see South Korea fall in some respects, and you see the emotion in South Korea when they lost to the United States in the semi-finals. They're a very proud country of their esports scene, especially when it comes to the players for Overwatch. And it's a big fall. It's a big fall, and a lot of pride has been lost for South Korea in the past few days, and it's up to them now to rebuild for next year. But I will look at South Korea in a bit more depth in another video, I think, because I don't want to go into it too much in this one. But those are your results for the Overwatch World Cup 2019. It has ended now along with BlizzCon. I'm off to have a quiet day on my birthday. Thank you all for joining me for this series. There will be additional Overwatch World Cup stuff over the next couple of days concerning what we thought and reviews of it and stuff like that. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.